Hello again, Wargamers, it's Kieran here. Just showing you my first update of where I've got to with painting the Ultramarines first company, or at least quite a few veteran squads for the first company. First and longest stage of base coat is really complete, with slapping essentially 2 layers of, what's it called, Macragge blue over the top. Some of you may have noticed that I had started these with a zenithal highlight. What that means is starting with black underneath, using grey as a second spray at a 60 or so degree angle, and then doing a spotlight spray of white over the top. I've got a model at the back here. In fact, I'll dig out Tigarius to show you what that looks like. So hopefully you can see that. The whole point of zenithal highlighting is that it keeps the dark black showing from underneath, a sort of grey as a mid-tone, and then nice bright white from the top. And it's kind of like instant highlighting. It works best if you actually go back and highlight properly using classic techniques of layering or hard edge highlights, whatever you want to do. Probably work very well blending too if you wanted. I don't pretend to be a painting expert, it's just I noticed that zenithal was working quite well for me and sort of showing me where to highlight in the best places. Quite time consuming step, but worth it. Ordinarily I would probably have taken a lot longer, like these 4 veterans at the back who are already base coated. The way I did those was by starting to just panel paint every single panel and kind of leave a bit of the darker bits showing. To speed batch get through all of this, I've started by just slapping blue pretty much anywhere where it needs to be blue and trying to avoid all the other areas. Essentially just to sort of cut down on the time. I will have to go back and blackline everything, but I did that for the other veterans anyway. So, yeah, I'm pleased with how it's going so far. Still got loads to do. Some of you may also notice this really big pile of backpacks over in the corner. The reason they're all tacked on was so that I could undercoat them at the same time as the other models and kind of get the zenithal part in the right place. But when you actually have the backpack on the Marine, especially with some of these veteran miniatures, it kind of obscures a lot of the detail, or it makes it much harder to get your brush into certain places. So I've deliberately left them off to paint them later, and the same with a few of these weapons over here. Ideally, I'd have left all of the guns off of the veterans that are holding them across their chests, but I actually got some of these sort of pre-built from like some of the old metal miniatures I could only find on eBay. So they'd already been super glued, and even trying to take it off, they were quite well glued, so I decided just to leave it and make the best of it. Again, these are really fun models to paint. I'm starting to think that this guy might get upgraded to a hero model just because of all the detail on that banner, and I really don't want to rush painting that part of it. So he might not make the final cut, but at least I've got part of him base coated. I will also say, this guy's now available in resin, so maybe not as much of a problem anymore, but this is one huge chunk of metal for the banner, and it makes the model very top heavy. So at some point I'm going to slap some weights on the bottom of it to try and make sure it stays upright for longer, just because I've noticed already just in painting it it's falling around a bit. You can probably see at the back there one of Cowbell's arms come off. Again, that's just blue tacked. I wanted it to be removable so I could paint the cloak underneath the gauntlets of the Ultramar properly. It's not really a big deal painting in sub-assemblies, it's just more making sure that you can get to all the bits of detail that you need and that you keep track of all of the different pieces. So really enjoying this so far. Lots left to do. Essentially just the first colour really down now. Next step for me will be painting all of the bolt guns and metal parts, just because I like to get the metal out of the way, and then it will probably be something like black over the weapon casings. Sometimes I've painted Space Marine weapons red in the past. It goes really nicely with things like Black Templars, but given the colour scheme for these guys is predominantly going to be blue and white, I don't really want the red overwhelming it too much. Probably keep that back for things like eye lenses, jewels, and the purity seals that they have. Anyway, that's the point I've got to with this. Those characters at the back, definitely I'm going to get done this weekend, but hopefully if I can clear this lot, they'll just sit on the paint bench and be there for when I want to get around to them and spend a little bit more time on things. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you've done an Ultramarines First Company army yourself, or even any First Company army. Typically I tend to play the Dark Angels, so they're also quite well known for their elite veterans, although those ones are all in tactical dreadnought armour. Yeah, hope you're enjoying, and stay tuned for what happens next.